Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I am super excited that you're joining me on this journey. We are actually reading about the life of Joseph and all that he encountered. And we last stopped off at verse 17. We're reading from the New King James Version, Genesis 37. And we're going to start today at verse 18. And I believe I will finish this entire chapter today. And then next we'll begin Genesis 38. So again, you are welcome to join me, and let's journey on. Genesis 37 verse 18. Now when they saw him afar off, even before he came near them, they conspired against him to kill him. Verse 19. Then they said to one another, "Look, this dreamer is coming." Verse 20. Come, therefore, let us now kill him and cast him into some pit. And we shall say, some wild beast has devoured him. We shall see what will become of his dreams. Verse 21. But Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands and said, Let us not kill him. Verse 22. And Reuben said to them, Shed no blood, but cast him into this pit, which is in the wilderness, and do not lay a hand on him, that he might deliver him out of their hands and bring him back to his father. Verse 23. So it came to pass, when Joseph had come to his brothers, that they stripped Joseph of his tunic, the tunic of many colors that was on him. Verse 24. Then they took him and cast him into a pit, and the pit was empty. There was no water in it. Verse 25. Then they sat down to eat a meal, and they lifted up their eyes and looked, and there was a company of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead, with their camels bearing spices, balm, and myrrh, on their way to carry them to Egypt. Verse 26. So Judah said to his brothers, What profit is there if we kill our brother and conceal his blood? Verse 27. Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hands be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh. And his brothers listened. Verse 28. Then Midianite traders passed by. So the brothers pulled Joseph up and lifted him out of the pit, and sold him to the Ishmaelites for 20 shekels of silver. And they took Joseph to Egypt. Verse 29. Then Reuben returned to the pit, and indeed Joseph was not in the pit, and he tore his clothes. Verse 30. And he returned to his brothers and said, The lad is no more, and I? Where shall I go? Verse 31. So they took Joseph's tunic, killed a kid of the goats, and dipped the tunic in the blood. Verse 32. Then they sent the tunic of many colors, and they brought it to their father, and said, We have found this. Do you know whether it is your son's tunic or not? Verse 33. And he recognized it and said, It is my son's tunic. A wild beast has devoured him. Without a doubt, Joseph is torn to pieces. Verse 34. Then Jacob tore his clothes, put sackcloth on his waist, and mourned for his son for many days. Verse 35. And all his sons and all his daughters arose to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. And he said, For I shall go down into the grave to my son in mourning. Thus his father wept for him. Verse 36. Now the Midianites had sold him in Egypt to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh and a captain of the guard.